is Chester could be put under a mandatory evacuation order at any time. Again, as you can see in looking at the fire map, this fire has progressively gone towards Chester since day one. We have identified action points that would put Chester under a mandatory evacuation. And I would guess that the next question would be is what is the action point? So I will just say that could change daily depending on the fire weather and the wind and the activity of what is going on. So, but as of right now, Chester remains under evacuation warning. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Johns.
By the end of the evening last night, it was in the upwards area of 1,600 acres as far as size. At 2100 last night, there was 250-foot flame legs coming off of that incident. You can definitely see the glow from the town of Quincy. So right now, approximate acres is 3,800 acres, and we're sitting at 5% contained on the fly incident. It is the priority for the east zone there, the fly incident there, just because of the threat to the town of Quincy itself. So the focus is on that right flank as you're looking uphill, as it's burning up towards Mount Huff, and again, it's going in an easterly direction. So the emphasis on the fly fire is to keep it from spreading any further to the east towards Quincy. So as far as the status of Greenville, Indian Creek, Taylorsville, they're not directly threatened within the next 24 to 36 hours, but we're definitely not out of the woods either for those communities that I just mentioned there. As far as the city of Twain, down on the Highway 70 corridor, we've got engines, we've got large structure city engines, we've got wildland engines, we've got hand crews down there, we've got bulldozers there, so that definitely is in the direct path. And they've been focused the last couple of days on doing the mitigation around the structures, trying to reduce the amount of fuel that are around those structures, and still being prepared to defend those structures down in Twain. Back to the fly. So a question came in about it. Has it spotted over Mount Huff? And the answer is no. There are currently no spots up and over Mount Huff or the Grizzly Ridge area. And then finally,
takes a little bit longer. We would expect to see that in the coming days. Another question that we've received, where are the 747s and DC-10s? The 747s are not flying this summer. That company has made some changes and they were not available on contract to either federal government or CAL FIRE this year. The DC-10s, however, they have been flying the incident. I called my air ops. They did not fly today due to where we could get them in due to the smoke and stuff, but they've been flying throughout the incident out of McClellan Air Attack Base. And then one of the other questions that we have is why haven't you seen many air attack or the tankers today? That kind of depends on where you're at. If we've had clean air, we've been bringing the tankers in. We have been flying air tankers today, but most likely if you're asking that question from the Almanor area, that smoke column's laid over and they just haven't been able to get fixed wing in there today. We have been flying helicopters. Kind of an update on those is that we do have 18 Type 1 helicopters. Those are the large sky cranes and the larger Chinooks, Blackhawks, those things with buckets and tanks. We have 6 Type 2 helicopters. Those have a little bit smaller tank, but usually we'll have heli-tac crews and stuff associated with them. And then 8 Type 3 helicopters. We use those for helicopter coordination and recon flights, particularly on that.
Once I received a question that simply states, what about Chester? So I will say that Chester remains under an evacuation warning. However, as I have indicated to folks over the last several
days, resources are out there continuing to mop up and secure. So we're feeling very optimistic in the Bucks Lake area that the Bucks Lake proper is not going to be impacted by any kind of direct fire spread.
Thank you. Our next presenter we'd like to bring back up to answer some questions from the West Zone Operations Section.
Update for the Chester area. So it was just mentioned by a previous speaker that area is evacuated. However, fire spread has not, most of our fire spread has been to the north and the east. We did have some to the west, so that is very dynamic based on fuels, terrain, and the wind and weather. But for right now, Chester is not having fire spread go towards it. The weather and topography do not indicate that we're have great concern of fire going that far south, so no. How close is the fire to Prattville? Prattville is right up here on Highway 89 on the shore of Lake Almanor, and you can see where the fire's edge is in proximity to that. So that area does have kind of black line. We did the firing operation parallel to Highway 89. So while there is fire several miles away, it is not to have fire that's quickly spreading in that direction or anything indicated like that. So this question about structure defense or infrastructure protection, values or risk. So both zones have groups identified for surge resources. So there are multiple strike teams of engines, and strike team engines is 5. So there's typically 10 of those a day. So that's 50 or so in